Chapter 5.5 is nonlinear systems of equations. A system of equations where at least one of the equations is not linear is a nonlinear system. In nonlinear systems, we may have more options than one for solutions. Think about this. These are circular shapes, right? So a couple of things that could happen is they could intersect in 4 places. You could have 4 solutions. They could intersect in 2 places. You could have 2 solutions. They could intersect in 1 place. You could have 1 solution. They could not intersect, and there could be no solution. So possibly more than 1 solution. Regardless of the number of solutions, we still have our same methods, the substitution method and the elimination by addition method, or a combination of the two. When I look at these 2 equations, they're set up perfectly for the elimination by addition method. Right? The easiest variable to eliminate would be the y squareds. All I'd have to do is multiply this equation by -5. So I'm going to do that all the way across. And then I would get -15x squared minus 5y squared equals -15. If I add it to 4x squared plus 5y squared equals 26, my y squareds are eliminated, and I'm left with -11x squared equals 11. So dividing by -11, I have that x squared equals -1. Using my square root method, x is, that's right, don't forget your plus or minus I. Now remember, once I have one of the variables, I'm not finished until I have both variables. So I'm just going to plug this into one of the equations. Again, I'm going to do it to this top equation where my numbers are smaller, but I could use either one. So if I let x be, let's do positive I first. If x is just I, and I plug in, I have 3 times I squared plus y squared equals 3. Well, I know I squared is -1, right? 3 times -1 plus y squared equals 3. So -3 plus y squared equals 3. Add 3 to both sides. Y squared is 6. Square root both sides. So y is plus or minus the square root of 6. That means so far my solutions are I square root of 6 and I negative square root of 6. Now let's plug in if x equals -I. Okay, then we have 3 times -I squared plus y squared equals 3. Well, a negative squared is positive. I squared is -1. This is still 3 times -1 plus y squared equals 3, or -3 plus y squared equals 3. So y squared equals 6. So y is plus or minus 6. So I have 2 more solutions. negative I square root of 6 and negative I negative square root of 6. And I did get 4 solutions for this system. Okay, let's try that again. This one is set up perfectly for substitution. Again, notice I have a quadratic equation and a linear equation. So a couple of things that could happen: quadratic equation, linear equation, quadratic equation, linear equation, quadratic equation, linear equation. So I could have up to 2 solutions for this one. All right, we already mentioned it's set up perfectly for substitution, so I'm going to plug this y in right here. X plus 2, but instead of y, I know that y is x squared plus 6x plus 9. So finishing my equation, I have x plus 2y equals negative 2. Now I have an equation with one variable in it that I can solve. So x plus, getting rid of my parentheses first, 2x squared plus 12x plus 18 equals negative 2. Okay, 2x squared plus 13x, combining like terms and putting all my constants on the same side to set it equal to 0 so I can try to factor it. Okay, that means I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply to give 40 and add to give 13. Those numbers are 8 and 5, both positive. X plus 8, x plus 5, but don't forget we've got a 2 in the front. So I wind up with x plus 4 and 2x plus 5 equals 0, meaning x is negative 4 or x is negative 5 halves. Now, once I know what x is, I have to go back and figure out what y is, and I need to plug in to, hopefully I'll plug into the easiest one, and looks to me like this would be the easiest equation to plug into. Okay, so if x is negative 4, plugging into this equation, I have negative 4 plus 2y equals negative 2. Add 4 to both sides. So 2y equals 2, y equals 1. So here's one solution when x is negative 4, y is 1. Okay, and when x is negative 5 halves, still plugging in to the same equation, negative 5 halves plus 2y equals negative 2. First thing I would do is get rid of this fraction, so I'm going to multiply everything by 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 to get negative 5 plus 4y equals negative 4. Add 5. So 4y equals 1. Y equals 1/4, meaning my other solution is when x is negative 5 halves, y is 1/4. And there are my two solutions.